Second chapter on federalism, let us look at some of the important questions that may come. First is the features of federalism. What are the main points that you find in a federal system? First, there is division of powers. We already saw there is central and regional or state government. Second, you have a written constitution. Important to have a written constitution so that the powers are clearly mentioned, so there is no problem. Rigid constitution. Now, of course, our constitution is slightly rigid, slightly flexible. If need be, we can amend it, but in general, every coming day you have changes all the time. It doesn't happen in that way. In an unwritten constitution, for example, some things may not be clearly, explicitly written. So here we have written as well as rigid. Then we also have an independent Supreme Court, which is not dependent on the executive, and that's why we can have proper divisions of power. The divisions of power are also very clearly mentioned. Now, why was federal system set up in India? Why have we chosen federal system? Of course, for any large country we will choose, but for India, the first problem was India has a lot of diversity. So it was better to have a federal system. Geographical factors, you can see India is a very large country. A very big country like America, India generally will have a federal system and not a unitary system. Necessary because we had to integrate so many princely states. India was made up of 550 princely states when we got our independence. So all these had to be brought together. And for democratic decentralization, like we saw earlier, so that you have government right up to the grassroots level. It is not only central control. Now here we have not discussed points which are there in unitary government, but if you see the features of federalism, opposite of that will be the features of a unitary government. If this has division of powers, there will be no division of powers because there is no regional government. There is only one central government. So it is just the opposite. Second, it does not necessarily have a written constitution. It may be just a constitution or rules which are made, which are understood but not written down clearly. It doesn't have a rigid constitution. That means even though it may be written, it is very flexible and it can keep on changing. And it may not have an independent Supreme Court. So you can see if they ask you about unitary government, that is exactly opposite of the federal system. Going on to question number 3. Now here I've done it in the form of a Venn diagram for you to make it simple, but you have to write it in sentences, of course. Now the division of powers when we want to show between union and state. Of course, union is more powerful than the state. You'll find that the Venn diagram very clearly shows you that some of those, that is the concurrent powers, are overlapping. That means both union and state government share it. From the number itself, you can see that union has more powers. It has 97 powers on which it can legislate and 66 in the state list. 47 are shared by both. And the residuary powers, which are not included in any of these, are also under the union government. So you can see the union government is more powerful, but the state government also has certain powers. Next question that we come to, the Panchayati Raj system. As I told you, it is a 3-tier system and it reaches right down to the grassroots levels. Now here if you see what are the achievements, that means the plus points, and problems will naturally be the negative points. First, it's easier administration because Panchayati Raj system is a local self-government, so it covers a small area, not an entire country or an entire region or state. Second, it reduces the burden of the central and state government. Third, increased participation of the people because the local people feel that this is for our good and that's why they participate, and therefore it leads to democratization, actually even decentralization. Now on the problem side, what are the negative aspects of this system, Panchayati Raj? There is a shortage of resources for local bodies. Very often the Zilla Parishad or the Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samiti may not have that much revenue or income. Of course, they can be given grants in aid by the state government or central government. Elections are not held regularly. Every 5 years, elections must be held. Only then can we say it's a true democracy. If we don't like the government, we should be able to overthrow them, have re-election, and then bring about a change. So these, you can see, are the features also, and you can see that there are some plus points and some minus points.